everybody, TK here, and that time I got Reincarnated as a Slime movie. The movie Scarlet Bond has officially released on Crunchyroll. So if you have a Crunchyroll subscription, you can go watch the Tensora movie right now. And I just finished watching it for the second time. I, of course, watched it once in theaters, and I just finished watching it for the second time. And it's time to correct a mistake of mine. And that was making such a phoned-in review of this movie. My review of this movie was literally just, I had a great day and the movie was fun. It was a terrible review. I hated it. I literally went on and on and on about how awful this Slime Diaries Blu-ray was because it wasn't worthy of the amazing series for so long, and yet here I am. I was literally the exact same thing. I made a crappy phoned-in review just to, just to put one out there. It's time to fix that. It's time to give my all to this series that I adore more than a lot of things on this planet. I just finished watching the Reincarnated Slime movie, the Scarlet Bond, again for my second time, and I am now ready to give a full spoiler-filled review of this movie. So, this is going to be full of spoilers, not only for Scarlet Bond, but the entirety of Tensora. The floodgates are open. This entire review is going to be all spoiler-based. I am taking off all of my not wanting to spoil anything about this immaculate fucking anime off. This is literally just me going crazy and just going nuts over this. We're gonna go through this movie. I'm gonna try and go through it scene by scene. I literally just watched it, so I should be able to remember it all. But yes, it is time. I've been wanting to do this. I've been really excited to do this ever since the movie was announced that it is finally coming to Crunchyroll, and now it is time to do. So, jumping right into it, and Tensora wastes no time jumping straight into it with its fucking phenomenal storytelling. We kick things off our opening scene of the movie. We have this little moment that happened before the Ogre Village was attacked by the Orc Lord, where we have fucking Hiro, one of the main characters of this movie. Our introduction to Hiro is in Clayman's land and has discovered that they are getting ready to attack the ogres. And in his attempts to escape, he kind of gets fucked up with them, and Yamza actually goes after him, and you have kind of a fight between a couple of Clayman's men and Hiro's men, and then you have Yamza coming in. Yamza, of course, the magic swordsman of ice, one of Clayman's 5 fingers. And yes, we have this little opening scene. Now, the fight between Hiro and Yamza's men was pretty darn cool. Lots of really awesome choreography there. But then you get to the actual fight with Yamza versus Hiro, and it's kind of over in a second. I actually didn't realize that in the movie theater. I thought the fight with Yamza versus Hiro was so cool, and then I watched it I just watched it again right here. I'm just like, oh yeah, Yamza kind of fucked it. Yamza kind of wiped the floor with his ass, didn't he? But I mean, that makes sense. He was a very powerful character in the show. But yes, that was our opening scene, and it was really cool. And then we have Hiro, after being defeated by Yamza and is on the verge of death. We are introduced to Queen Toa and the country of Raja, and we have her men who have discovered him and his men, bring them back and try to help them because they are also looking for help. Queen Toa and the nation of Raja have been looking for assistance, and they bring Hiro here, and they're unable to save his men, but Queen Toa is able to give Hiro his name, Hiro, and that, of course, evolves him into a Kijin, just like the ogres in Tensora when Rimuru names them, and they evolve into Kijins. So that is how we get Hiro, and now Hiro is serving under the Queen. And then we jump to present day after the events of Tensora Season 2, so after everything with the Kingdom of Falmouth's invasion, and Demon Lord's Clayman's defeat, and Rimuru defeating Demon Lord Clayman. So now we're in present time, and we basically kick things off with Rimuru, who's just chilling in his village because he's an absolute beast. That's one of the best things I love about Rimuru, is even though he is one of the strongest beings in the entire world, and he's a lord and a king, and everybody views him as a god, he's literally just sitting in this little house just like a normal dude. That's what's so great about Rimuru, because sometimes you forget that he's just a regular old dude, man. Before he got turned into Rimuru, he was just some random ass average Joe on the street, and that's why why he lives like that. Subtle things like that I just absolutely adore about this fucking anime. But he's just chilling out with Shuna and Shion, you know, doing Tensor stuff. You got a little bit of Shion sucking at cooking coming in here. We get a much better Shion sucking at cooking joke later on in the movie, but we get a fun one at the beginning here, especially fun little scene where he like runs up the wall, like she opens the thing and of course it's just purple smoke and death coming out and he just like retreats up the wall. Fucking killed me. So you have that, and then we learn that Hero is actually attacking Geld in Tempest because of course Hero is under the impression that the orcs and whatever are actually, you know, they're the bad guys, and he is trying, you know, he hates the fact that they destroyed their village, you know, all that being said. So we have Rimuru learning of this fight between Geld and Hero. I keep forgetting his name. Geld and Hero, and then we actually cut to the fight, and we get some pretty great stuff with it. We even get a quick little scene of Sokka coming in there, and I am a huge Sokka fan, so please give us more Sokka. Oh my god, she needs more love so badly. But yes, it was, but you get a small little fight between them, and then you have Geld realizing that it's an ogre seeking revenge for the forest, and of course, because Geld is an absolute beast, of course, Geld just drops his weapons and just stands there and lets him kill him before Benimaru comes in and swoops in. Man, Geld is just, oh my god, that dude is so fucking awesome, dude. He realizes that it's for revenge, and he's like, I deserve this, and just sits down and lets him kill him, man. Gotta love Geld so much. But Benimaru, of course, comes in, and then you have Hero and Benimaru reuniting, and then Shion and the others all come in, and you have this reuniting. And I really, really enjoyed this because in the trailer, the first trailer for Scarlet Bond, I keep calling it Crimson Bond. I'm playing Darkest Dungeon right now, so Crimson is in my head. Scarlet Bond. In the first trailer for the movie, they really portrayed Hero like he was going to come in and he was going to be some kind of villain or something, or he was going to be some kind of antagonist or something. I don't know. I couldn't 100% piece together what it was, but it turned out to be completely wrong. In this movie, he is literally just the good guy. After this first little encounter with Geld, as soon as he finds out that Benimaru and Shion and all of them are still alive, he's just the good guy now. And yeah, it was really good, and I love this scene where they reunited. It was super, super sweet, and I loved it very, very much. But then you have Hero being introduced to Rimuru, learns that Rimuru has become a demon lord, and then you have Hero requesting Rimuru to come help the queen, and we learn about what is going on with Queen Toa and the nation of Raja, where their water supply, this giant lake, is poisoned, and she has this tiara, which we're going to learn about a bit through the movie. Well, you know, we'll talk about that right now. So her lineage, her family, they had this, one of her past mothers, one of the past queens of Raja, was given this tiara by a goddess. We'll talk about that, of course. Was given this tiara by a goddess, and it is able to, you know, help. It is able to do stuff, and it's complicated. We'll talk about that more when we get down the list. But the tiara is able to, you know, it's a magical tiara. It's able to do things, and basically their water supply, this lake, is poisoned, and basically throughout the years of this nation, of this kingdom being a thing and Toa being there, she's had to use this tiara to constantly get rid of the poison in the water so that the nation of Raja can, you know, live and can drink water and whatnot. And yeah, that's what we learn is going on with her. So we learned that has been Toa's whole life of just suffering and having to do this, because when she turns in all the poison into her tiara, it like makes her like super, super ill, and then she has to recover forever, and super, super duper depressing. So you have Hero telling all of that to Rimuru, and then of course he's Rimuru. He just goes and fixes everything because that's what he does. He just spreads peace and harmony wherever he can and wherever he goes, because that's literally what my boy does. And this scene is so great where Hero is talking with Rimuru. You get so many fun tensoric works in here of the characters hanging out. I especially love that they built up in the previous scene that of course Veldora, you know, Veldora, the super ultimate powerful dragon of destruction, is there, and that's why they can't cultivate with Jura yet. And then he gets there, and Rimu's just like, oh yes, here, say hello to my friend Veldora, and Veldora is just in the corner with his mountain of Mog. He's like, hey, what's up? I am Veldora. So fucking good. Gotta love Veldora so much. But yes, and then of course Malim shows up as well and does her Malim thing. And yeah, so you have this scene where Hiro asks Rimuru to go help him. And of course, he's more than happy to do so. So they go out, they meet with Toa, and then of course Rimuru solves this fucking problem in like that fucking time. Literally just goes in front of the lake, splits the fucking lake in half, gets rid of the poison, and then just spits the whole lake back out because he's fucking Rimuru. And yeah, I love this scene. I think it is absolutely awesome. It's kind of fun because, you know, we all view Rimuru as a god, right? It's not just me, right? And it's kind of fun, you know, splitting the sea. I get it. Very, very, very cool. But yes, of course, he just shows up, fixes everything because he's Rimuru and he's the best thing ever. And yeah, we move on from there. So at this point, we think that it's all good to go. That the poison has been purified. The queen is now good to go. But then we learn that there's a lot more to this. So after Rimuru returns with everybody back to Tempest, pretty much immediately we are introduced to one of the biggest antagonists of this movie, and that is Lakawa, who is this little demon gremlin guy who's been chilling out in the nation of Raja, and is the one who's been poisoning this water. It is the one who's been poisoning this water to make Queen Toa suffer, which we learn why in a little bit here. But he is basically our main antagonist. There is one other character that might be more of the main antagonist later. And Lakawa is absolutely pissed. He's like, fuck this freaking slime ruining everything. But then he comes up with this plan to use Hiro to actually so the whole plan here is to get Toa to use the tiara to the point that it kills her, that it takes over her body. And there's reasons for that, which I still cannot say because we haven't gotten to that part in the movie yet. But that's the whole point of this. And his new plan to do so is to have Hiro like go berserk, like lose his shit, and have Toa have to use her tiara to save him. So what he ends up doing is using this little magic ball orb thing that you swallow, and then it makes you go fucking berserk. It makes your like power go absolutely insane, and you lose your mind. You go like Hulk mode basically. And so he has Hiro do this because he tricks Hiro into thinking that he is going to sacrifice himself to save Toa. And of course, Hiro is more than happy to do so because he basically owes Toa his life, and you know he served her for the better part of like 2.5 years at this point. So yes, that is what Lakawa's new plan is. But of course, you know, he reveals, here. Lakawa himself is a very, very just mustache twirling generic villain. In all honesty, I think Lakawa is a pretty darn mediocre villain, but I think that was kind of intentional, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, and why I don't think it's a horrible thing. But yeah, so that is where we are right now. And then, of course, Rimuru shows up with Ranga and a bunch of other characters, and we enter the third act of the movie, where we have, well, actually, no, before we enter the third act of the movie, we jump back to Tempest, where Diablo has put together a idea in his head that maybe he knows who is responsible for all of these things happening to Toa and Raja. And he goes, and we are introduced to Viole, who I believe is eventually going to be one of the Black Numbers. All the manga readers keep telling me about the Black Numbers and how much I'm gonna love the Black Numbers. And I could be wrong on this because I have no information on this, but I believe Viole is one of the Black Numbers, if I'm not mistaken. I believe her and Diablo are both members of the Black Numbers. So we're introduced to Viole, and she's a pretty cool character. I like Viole so far. She's got that kind of I don't fucking care attitude, but I kind of like her. I really do, and I like her design a lot. And we have Diablo confronting Viole about this whole thing with Raja, with Lakawa and Queen Toa, and we learn about the whole thing here. We learn that Viole was actually the goddess that gave her the tiara, and Viole was actually intending to use whatever queen was at the time whenever the queen would get defeated by the tiara. When the tiara would consume her entire body, Viole would incarnate into that body, just like as we learned throughout the 10-story series, of course, the spirits, the demons and whatnot, like Diablo, like the spirit of the hero, we all have to learn that they have to incarnate. You know, that was the whole thing with Shizu's Students arc, where they went to the labyrinth of spirits, and they had to, they all had to put their spirits into there. And then, of course, you had the whole thing in the in the Kingdom of Falmouth invasion arc, where Diablo comes in and of course is incarnated by Rimuru in order to, you know, evolve into a demon lord, and then of course Diablo wants to serve Rimuru. So we learn about that, and we learn that that was Viole's intention, was to have the current, whichever queen was at the time, who decided to give up on the, who decided to give up and give in on the tiara, that it would consume her, and then she would incarnate into that person. So that was her whole plan, and Lakua was actually a minion who was trying to speed up this process because Lakua is greedy and wants to be showered with, he wants to be promoted, he wants to be a more favored person by Viole. As far as I could tell, he might have been like, I wanting to like overthrow her or something, but I didn't catch on to that. He was a huge piece of shit. Lakua was a huge piece of shit, so he was probably intending on that, but don't matter now. Spoiler, Lakua was fucking dead. But yes, so you have, so that is what we learned. We learned everything about Viole, and then we get a pretty sick little fight between Diablo and Viole. It was a pretty sick fight, but I mean, Diablo's just like, yeah, I was totally trying there. That was really hard because, you know, Diablo is, you know, actually incarnated, as opposed to Viole, who is just, you know, has like this little manufactured body of magicules that she's been using. So yeah, obviously Diablo wipes the floor with her ass, and then she says that she will, you know, she will give up. She will give up on Raja and Toa, and then she actually learns that Lakua is actually interfering and is trying to speed up the process, and she's like, I did not ask for this. I was just gonna sit here and wait and be entertained by the queen's suffering, and if she ever gave up, that was when I would go in. I wasn't, you know, gonna do anything. So she learns that Lakua was trying to speed up the process, and then she voids the contract. Basically is like, fuck you, Lakua, and voids the contract with the whole thing. Then we move on to the final act, and this, oh my goodness gracious, I love this final act. And the first part of this final act, oh my god, I love this scene. You have this freaking scene where Lakua retreats into this mine shaft, and Rimuru chases after him on Ranga, and my god, I love this scene. This scene is so amazingly edited, and it is so awesome, and from this point on, both times I watched the movie, I thought this. From this point on, you have Rimuru trying to kill Lakua, basically. But the whole thing is, you can see it in Rimuru's eyes the whole time, is that he's not even trying. He is literally just having fun with these guys, dude. He literally could have killed this dude at any point that he wanted, and you can literally see it in his fucking eyes that he is not trying whatsoever. He is literally just trying to have some fun with these guys before he fucking Shreks their ass. And yeah, that's exactly what he does. He chases him up this mine shaft, he fucks with them, he's like, hey, what's that up there? And then he just runs into this hole, into his fucking car falls into lava, he shoots into the fucking sky, and then you have Rimuru versus him. Another dude shows up who turned out to be a traitor, and then Ranga just whoops his ass real quick, and then you have fucking Lakua, and he gets the message from Viole that he's like, you know, fuck you and all that, and then he's like, he eats one of the little things that makes you go Hulk mode, and of course Rimuru's just sitting there like, and then he fucking goes all Hulk mode, and he just Beelzebub and swallows the entire thing. He's like about to like nuke the entire country. He's just like, if I'm dying, I'm taking everybody with me. And then of course Rimuru just fucking Beelzebub and swallows the entire explosion, just completely gets rid of everything. He just shrugs his shoulder off and moves on. Oh my god, it's so fucking great. So yeah, that entire little fight between Rimuru and Lakua, that was fun. That was certainly fun watching Rimuru have some fun with this dumbass. But yes, that was definitely very satisfying. But then we get to the real climax of this movie, and my goodness gracious, I'll be honest, the first time I saw this in the theaters, I actually was kind of a little bit like underwhelmed by it, because it definitely felt like, actually we'll get to that in a second. Let me just talk about the third act real quick, then I'll talk about what my issue was when I first saw it. Basically, you have Benimaru fighting Hiro, trying to bring him back to his senses. And then he's not able to do so, and he tries everything in his power. And then you have Hiro about to kill Benimaru. Then Toa jumps in front of him. He sees Toa, and he kills himself. The Hulk mode gains like a little bit of reconsciousness. He stabs himself in the heart, pulls out the heart thing, and crushes it. And then Hiro dies. He has to pay the contract for using the little ball thing. Apparently, like the little ball thing that makes you go Hulk mode. Once you use it, you know, if you lose, if you die, you like disintegrate basically. So he has to pay that contract, and then he disintegrates completely. And then Toa comes in and finally uses the tiara in order to do that. So she gives in. She gives in to Viola, uses the tiara to bring him back. But the contract was voided, so it doesn't work. Viola does not incarnate into her. And then you get a little message from Viola saying, you suffered enough. Here you go, and brings her back to life. So both Hiro and Toa survive by the end of this movie. And when I saw this in theaters, I will be honest, I was underwhelmed by it. I thought it was a little bit not reincarnated as a slime as to have both of these characters survive. But then watching it on the second time, I actually really, really liked this entire, final act. I actually thought it was very, very well crafted. Not to the same level as, Shion's resurrection in Reincarnated in season 2. That was just, my god, all the layers to Shion's reincarnation. That may be, the best, fictional reincarnation of a dead character that I have personally ever seen, dude. That was so masterfully done in Tensora season 2. And this, I definitely don't think it's quite on that same level, but I'm okay with both of these characters surviving this movie. I liked how everything was linked, everything with Viola, everything with Hiro. I thought it all made a good amount of sense. And I actually like the fact that both of the characters survived by the end of it. I thought it was really good. And I have to say that during this scene, the fucking song Sparkle by Ron, my favorite song of this movie. I love the Tensora soundtrack is one of my favorite things about it. I love the fucking music in this show so goddamn much, and this is my favorite song of this movie. Sparkle by Ron. I absolutely love this song. It is fucking stupendous. I love it. So yes, this entire climax scene I think is amazing. I love this climax scene. And then we wrap it up. We have a fun little scene where Rimuru establishes diplomatic relations with Raja because he's Rimuru. That's what he does. He just wants to grow his nation further and make even more people's lives peaceful and just bring harmony to this entire world because he's the best thing ever. And then we get a fun little scene at the end where he returns after putting Veldora and Malim in charge, and of course the whole fucking town is wrecked because Malim and Veldora were left in charge, and we're like, yeah, there you go. That's Reincarnated as Slime, and there you go. And then we end with Make Me Feel Better by Midna Rain. And I'm gonna be honest, when I saw this in the theaters, I didn't think too much about Make Me Feel Better. I stayed and listened to it a while, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's nowhere near as good as Like Flames. But listening to it again here, and I also want to say, I forgot to say this, but my movie theater plays English dub anime movies at 0.5 volume, dude. I'm not even kidding, and I'm literally 100% serious. I literally just went and saw the sub of the Demon Slayer season 3 premiere with my sister, and it was perfectly good volume. The volume was perfect. My theater hates English dubs, and that's why I'm probably never going to watch another English dub in my theaters again. I'll watch subs, no problem, but I'm probably never going to go watch another English dub at a theater ever again because I am sick of not being able to hear the fucking movie. So yes, when I actually got to listen to Make Me Feel Better and Sparkle as well, when I actually got to hear the fucking song, I really, really loved it actually. I really loved Make Me Feel Better by Midna Rain. I really, really did like it. And then there you have it. That is the entirety of the Tensora movie. My god, I am out of breath, but that is everything. Overall, after the second watch of this movie, I really, really, really like this movie. A lot of this movie, the first half of this movie really gave me flashbacks to the first couple episodes of Tensora. It was much slower and it was a much less broad thing. Of course, when I love every single second of Tensora, but I really, really love the first 8 episodes of Tensora so much, where Rimuru is building Tempest. I mean, obviously, from start to finish, I adore this fucking show. I have zero complaints with this show. It is my favorite anime. But I really, really, really love everything with Rimuru slowly building up Tempest and slowly bringing in people and getting introduced to the ogres and of course the Armed Nation of Dwargon with Kaijin and all of the others, and Vesta. I really love all that, and the Lizard Men with Gabiru. I really, really love those first 8 episodes. It's such a slow, and it's slower. I really, really like that, and I really felt a lot of that with the first half of this movie. The whole thing with Rimuru being asked to go to this nation to like fix their like water that's poisoned. I thought it was very, very like old school Tensora, and I really liked that. Both times I watched this movie, I really liked that. You got to keep in mind, I am someone who has watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime from start to finish 6 times, literally 6 times from start to finish. So I'm a huge fucking fan of this franchise, and I really loved the fact that the first half of this movie really did feel a lot like that old Tensor that I just loved so fucking much. And then you get the second half, which definitely felt more along the lines of the later halves, where it devolves much more into like a war, you know, like a full-on like battle shonen for a while there. And that's exactly what it feels like. And then, of course, you also get a little bit at the end there with what happens with Hiro and Toa, which definitely made you feel a little bit, which definitely gave you some flashbacks of some of the stuff that happened in 2. Nothing like that had your jaw on the fucking floor like the end of season 2, like the conclusion of the Falmouth invasion and Rimuru evolution to Demon Lord. Nothing on that level at all. But still really good, you know. I really did enjoy this movie. Both times, I enjoyed it in the theater, and on the second watch, I definitely, yes, I am ready to say that I really like this movie. I think it is really good, and I think it is another exceptional entry in the That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime series, and I cannot wait for season 3. Oh, man. Personally, I think, so this is all just speculation. I have no idea. I could be completely wrong on this. Don't take any of this, but what I think is going to happen with season 3, this is just my prediction for season 3, is we're going to learn a lot more about, we're going to get a lot more into it with Yuki Kagarazaka and the Demon Lord Kazalim, and probably some more with the Moderate Holocron Alliance, Laplace, Footman, and Tyr. So I think that's going to happen, and then I think we're going to get some stuff with Luminous, with Luminous, the Valentine, no, Luminous, the Vampire Demon Lord. I think she was set up to be like the next, like, I think they might do like a Demon Slayer type thing, where Demon Slayer is like going through each of the Hashiras and giving them like their own season. I think maybe Slime might do something similar to that. I'm not sure 100%. Again, this is all just complete speculation, but you know how they ended season 2 with Octogram coming together, and then you had that last scene with Laplace at Demon Lord Valentine's like little place there, and of course Laplace fucking killing Roy Valentine. I thought that really set up like the Moderate Harlequin Alliance and also Luminous as like maybe either the next villain, or maybe we're gonna have some kind of like team up thing. I don't know. I really like Luminous so far, so I actually really want them to team up because that would be fucking awesome. But yes, I also think we're definitely gonna get some kind of evolution with Hinata Sakaguchi. I mean, obviously, we had the fight in season 2 where Rimuru like faked his death against her, but I really hope we get some sort of sense of finality with her in season 3. I hope Hinata Sakaguchi like maybe learns the truth about Shizu and that Rimuru did not kill Shizu or something like that. I don't know. Those are my hopes for season 3, but there you have it, everybody. I thought I would throw in my little speculation for season 3 at the end there, just because I've been wanting to get it off my chest, and I got no one else to talk to about it except for a few friends at work. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope this makes up for the shitty review I made for the movie that was not worthy at all. I really hope this makes up for it. I tried. Hopefully made up for it. And yes, thank you all so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. And if you did like it, maybe give me a like, as it really helps support me. I'm completely out of breath. This is DK Guillotine, signing out.